I'm kind of on a roll right now, so not everything is set up. I'm just gonna keep it going and type this stuff out. Let me get some music at least up, but I'm gonna keep typing.
This is my hack for working smart, Monday.com. Let me show you how I use Monday.com to create a tailor-made workflow. First, the most comfortable way for me.
first mention of any kind of calorimeter is, or any kind of burning, is this mineral matter which is left behind when it's burned. It's not saying that these have anything to do with it being burned yet. These are all very much chemical based first. And this is right. Speak of the devil, I saw it. Calories. We'll get there. Plenty of time. 1894. They're saying farm boys get strong because they're chewing on little balls of protein all day. Low carb, fatty protein balls and wheat. To yield heat to keep his body warm. This is before vitamins really were discovered in the early 1900s. White protein. Casein. Milk, myosin. Keep rewriting that. I feel. Alright. Are built from the nutritive ingredients of food. I'm glad we can agree on that. All the organs and tissues of the body are built from the nutrition of food. Mineral material is consumed and must be resupplied by food. Thank you. That's what I'm arguing. Material is consumed and must be resupplied. In this sense, a body is like a machine. Sure. To repair them as they worn out, to serve as. This is the different argument because now we understand we're more like computers than we are like combustion engines. So fuel is electromagnetic. others it does not. Oh, here we go. Part of its potential is transformed the mechanical power which the engine uses for work. The rest is changed to the heat which the engine does not utilize, therefore is wasted. The heat is used to keep the body warm. The mechanical power is employed for muscular work. The material which the engine is built is very different from that which for fuel. Part of the material which serves the body for fuel also builds it up and keeps it in repair. Right, so that's fundamentally different. Further, the body uses its own substance for fuel. The steam engine cannot do at all. Steam engine and the body are alike in that both convert the fuel into heat and mechanical power. That's true. They differ in that the body uses the same material for fuel as building as it consumes the material for fuel. Right, and it is use of the fuel of the body is more economical than the engine. So there's no argument that heat is created, but the argument is it the most important measurement? And that answer is no. It's just something to remember that during action, heat is created. During digestion and stuff, the consuming of materials is going to move muscles and friction. In general, just movement is going to. Movement promotes heat, I think, is a fair statement of thermodynamics. Movement promotes heat. I think that's actually absolutely a fact. Yeah, movement promotes heat. So taking that into consideration, that all movement promotes heat, and then trying to find out how we actually move. Or am I just arguing the same? Like, you can't argue that the body doesn't get hotter. What the argument is, what is nutrition based on? And it is the materials. It's more than a machine. We have not simply organs to build and keep in repair and supply with engine. We have a nervous organization. We have sensibilities and the higher intellect and spiritual faculties, and the right exercise of those depends on the right nutrition of the body. Agreed. The chief uses of food then are two. 1. To form the material of the body and repair its wastes. That is my main focus. To yield heat to keep the body warm and muscular and other power for the work it has to do. Just change heat to energy. Yield energy and muscular and other power to keep the body working. Because the body has to maintain its own temperature. And it just naturally creates heat. That's why we like to be in a cold environment. It naturally creates heat. So it's just to yield energy to keep muscular power and work to do. Because it's a different argument. Food serves for building and repair. Yes. Different nutrients of the food serve the body in different ways. The principal tissues formers. See, if he just knew about electromagnetism and quantum mechanics, he would just say to yield energy to keep the body for work it has to do, and knowing that it would just naturally create heat. Trying to make our most scientific research make sense. And I might not have the full picture either, but okay, hang on. Different nutrients, different ways. The principal tissue or protein compounds. The principal tissue formers are protein compounds. Yes. we also need fats for chief building as well. We know that now with better chemical analysis. See, this is that argument. I mean, technically, I think that's still a process, yeah. I don't know, it's interesting to think about how fat is created, but first we're just trying to understand the history of calories and using heat, body heat and stuff. At least this one with Atwater, we could finally like read English and like make sense of it. We still have to get through the French, and then we have to get through the German. We're skipping ahead to the American. Okay. Eggs, the gluten of wheat, the myosin of lean meat, and the other food are transformed to the aluminoids and gelatinoids of the body. Muscle, tendon, and cartilage are made of these. Aluminoids of food also serve as fuel. A dog can live on lean meat. He can convert it into muscle heat and muscular power. This is the key right here. Muscular power. If we just take out heat, because converting it into muscular power can convert it into muscle and muscular power, because converting it into muscular power requires the gluconeogenesis of our livers to chop off the nitrogen and get it capable to reproduce an ATP molecule. So all muscle power comes down to replication of the ATP molecule. So all nutrition before we get to the heat component is based on replicating and duplicating and recreating the ATP molecule to create muscular power. And that wasn't discovered until 1929. That's 32 years after this publication. Oh no, it's more than that. This publication's 1894. It said oh no, I just can't remember dates. That's why things are written down. Alright, so starch in the body yield heat and power. The fats, such as fat and meat and butter, serve the same purpose, but they're more concentrated fuel than the carbohydrates. The fats of the food are stored in the body. So this is directly where we're getting fats from food, and they probably made their arguments. The sugar industries, the fat of the food are stored in the body, says W.O. Atwater. But that's so long ago. The body also transforms the carbohydrates of food into fat. This fat, stored from the fat of food, is kept in the body as a reserve of fuel in the most concentrated form. Our chief use of fat stored in the body is for fuel to be drawn out in case of need. The different nutrients can, to a greater or lesser extent, do one another's work. If the body has not enough of one for fuel, it can use another. But while protein can be burned in place of fats and carbohydrates, neither of the latter can take the place of the albuminoids in building and repairing the tissue. At the same time, the gelatinoids, fats, and carbohydrates, by being consumed themselves, protect the albuminoids from consumption. So this is an interesting argument that I've never heard before. He's saying that there's different classifications of proteins in the foods. There's the albuminoids, and then there's the gelatinoids. Albuminoids, also considered the myosin of lean meat. Yeah, myosin of lean meat. That's just, he's only making that classification because lean meat also has fatty tissue in it, and it's not the fatty tissue and the myosin mix, it's the myosin. They're assuming, I guess, I don't know. Because, yeah, it has to be an assumption some way. Forms of force or energy. Heat and muscular power forms of the energy is developed as the food is consumed. Yeah, it's forms of force or energy. Remember, energy is electromagnetic action. Fundamentally, on a fundamental force level, it's electromagnetic. The energy is developed as the food is consumed in the body. It is measured in the laboratory by means of an apparatus called a calorimeter. The unit commonly used is the calorie, the amount of heat which would raise the temperature of a pound of water 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Taking ordinary food materials as they come, the following general estimate has been made for the average heat and energy 1 pound of class nutrient. So they're trying to estimate the amount of energy in food by measuring the heat released from it. But remember, that's not what's happening. It's electromagnetic. I mean, and it's converting. I guess there's got to be some kind of relation, but there is going to be a relation, but the plus minus on it is too big. When you compare nutrients with respect to their fuel values, but remember, he's also arguing that the number one, to form the material for our body repairs, we need to repair our body first. We need the material to repair our body, and then we need enough of the fuel foods so that way our body doesn't use the repair foods, unless we just get enough of the repair foods. That's his central argument. And this is just talking about energy. So a pound of either require a pound of fat of meat or butter or body fat. Two pounds of sugar or starch equals 1 pound of meat or body fat. Matches blacksmiths who start fires with iron heating for hammers. The heating of the iron caused the conversation of one form of energy to another. The muscular energy of the blacksmith's arm was transformed into the mechanical energy of the descending hammer. When the hammer struck, the energy as a part of the iron were transformed into heat, and the iron became red hot. Is that what happens with the blacksmith's iron? Where it's transmuted into heat? The energy came from the blacksmith's food. Just how the energy food is disposed of in the body, experimental science has not yet told us. See, how the energy of the food is disposed of in the body, experimental science has not yet told us. But it is certain that part of its conversion into heat and part into mechanical energy exerted by the muscles. Some may be transformed into electricity. Damn. Man, he's really smart, and he's working with everything he's got. There's no doubt that intellectual activity also is somehow dependent upon the consumption of material which the brain has obtained from the food, but just what substances are consumed to produce brain and nerve force, and how much of each is required for a given quantity of intellectual labor are questions which the chemist's balance and calorimeter do not answer. Interesting. Coal and wood we burn, the plants we grow, the food we eat, and the reserve materials in our body and resources of latent energy. The sources of that energy is the sun. The sun. The science of later years is explaining how the energy of the sun warms and lights our planet, and how it is stored in coal and petroleum and wood, and how it is transformed into heat of a furnace in the light of a lamp, because it all comes from the sun. That makes so much sense. The mechanical power of steam or into electricity, and then into light or heat or mechanical power. Again, the same energy from the sun is stored in the protein and fats and carbohydrates of food. That's correct. And the physiologists today are telling us how it is transmuted into heat that warms our bodies and into strength for our work and thought. That is all technically correct. It's just heat is not the most base layer. It's electromagnetism that creates the heat. So it was just one layer off. And that's why calories are one layer off. Food supplies us in several ways. Either is used to form the tissues and fluids of the body. It is used to repair the waste of tissues. It is stored in the body for future consumption. It is consumed as fuel. Its potential energy being transformed into heat or muscular energy or other forms of energy required by the body. Or other forms of energy required by the body. Or it's being consumed, protects tissues or other food from consumption. All yielded energy in form of heat and muscular strength. Being themselves burned to yield energy, the nutrients protect each other from being consumed. The protein and fats, body tissue, are used like those food. An important use of carbohydrates and fats is to protect protein from consumption. The definition of food and food economy. Food that is which taken in the body builds tissue or yields energy. The most healthful food is that which is best fitted to the wants of the user. The cheapest food is that which furnishes the longest amount of nutriment at the least cost. The best food is that which is both healthful and cheapest. That's awesome. Food and food economy. I am a big fan of, he's so correct. That's so I didn't think I was going to agree with him so much. Because calories is so over dominated everything. This is so cool. It's just that heat is not the most fundamental layer. I mean, if he would have been around to know, I'm sure he could have put this together himself. This is so cool. The nutritive value of food depends mainly upon the amounts and proportion of actual nutritive materials which they contain. Of course, the digestibility and the ways in which they agree and disagree with different people are important factors of the nutritive value. We will consider first the chemical composition. God. This is awesome. Let's redefine that. Water is a nutrient. Because, they're calling literally what a nutrient is by their definition is everything that is left after the water is pulled out. Because it's part of the nutriment. And a nutrient is just a part of the nutriment. But now we have new physiological definitions.